Welcome to Innovator's Journey. This series features interviews with entrepreneurs and creatives who are turning bold ideas into thriving businesses and groundbreaking creative work. Today, we're excited to feature a professional from the education sector. Our guest on the show today, Joan Gillman, has held teaching roles at several schools in New York and New Jersey, and most recently has been a science teacher at the Browning School since 2018. The Browning School is a boys' college preparatory school consistently ranked among the best private schools in NYC. Joan, welcome to Innovator's Journey.
Oh, so happy to be here.
What inspired you initially to make the career choice to become a teacher?
Well, I can trace that back to my years in high school. My high school had a very strong community service aspect to its graduation. So as a result, I started volunteering in their lower school, teaching recorder, tutoring in math, and organizing games in their playground. I was very inclusive with this. I had everyone participating, including those who would kind of shy away and would stand in the corner. The head of the school was extraordinarily pleased about my inclusiveness and the way I made sure everyone was actually participating. And it was a great thing because you had these awesome athletes seeing the importance of having their peers participate as well. So I think it was a great starting point to why I became a teacher. I was also a substitute ballet teacher in one of the local schools, and that was so much fun to be instilling this love of dance in these children. And on top of that, I was also volunteering at the local JCC and teaching some special needs students to swim.
Those impacts last a lifetime for sure. Since joining the Browning School in 2018, how have you incorporated your beliefs about equity, diversity, and social justice into your science curriculum?
One of the reasons I joined the Browning School was because of their commitment to equity, diversity, and social justice. My first time in the school, as soon as I walked into the building, just on the right and framed is their mission statement on diversity. And I thought, wow, I think I've come home. The school's commitment to diversity enabled me to teach a new unit for my sixth graders called Hurricane Relief and Environmental Racism. We began actually looking at the mission statement of the Browning School to see whether or not it actually fulfills its mission. Once the students became familiar with mission statements, we then looked at 6 different hurricanes and 3 different organizations that helped out in the relief efforts. What surprised my students was how, in some cases, there was not equity in who would receive the help. Based on these differences in responses, my students then had to come up with a plan that would remedy these issues. My youngest students, we do an entire engineering unit with building skyscrapers and 6 different bridge types. What I love about this is we begin by looking at bridges and buildings from around the world. Well, my students come from all different backgrounds, and it's just so heartwarming to see how much they love seeing buildings from their own countries or bridges. Like, I've been there, I've seen it, and just hearing that excitement mount. With my upper elementary school students, we see this in my astronomy unit when we learn about the history of our space program. We start off where I show a picture of the original 7 Mercury astronauts, and I ask them, well, what's missing? And of course you hear, well, they don't have their spacesuits on. Where are their oxygen tanks? Takes them a while to realize, hey, wait a minute. These are all white men. Where's the diversity? And it's quite shocking for them to realize it took to the 1980s to start remedying this.
Throughout the years, you've taught at several schools before settling at the Browning School. How has your teaching approach evolved over the years, and what innovative methods have you brought to your current role?
When I think back, when I first started teaching 43 years ago, I was in the South Bronx using a blackboard and chalk. Little did I realize that nowadays, how do I live without a smartboard and Chromebooks and all the technology? I still remember the first time they put a computer in my room, and I'm thinking, well, where do you turn on this contraption?
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, I'm really embracing the technology. The smartboards are a great tool. Some of the other changes I think I've made is I've made my curriculum a lot project-based. I find when the students have to show their comprehension by making a model or doing a project and then presenting it to their peers, I feel that they really understand the concepts much stronger. To give you an example, we just had our STEAM Expo, and our sixth graders were making plant and animal cell models. Well, they had all the same directions, but I had one group made an amusement park and then did an analogy showing that for each part of the park, it would stand for a different organelle in a plant cell. Someone else,
Interesting.
really cool. Another group made a video of a tour of a plant cell using all kinds of animations. Someone else made a jigsaw puzzle of the plant cell that you put together. We had a child who wrote an original rap video and filmed the whole thing and performed it. It just was amazing. I just love the ingenuity of the students to do that.
Absolutely. Sounds like you're bringing a lot of creativity to your role. I love that. I would have loved that as a student. Absolutely. As an active member of the Science Teachers Association of New York State and the National Science Teaching Association, what recent developments in science education do you find most exciting or promising?
Well, just a few years ago, the NSTA, the National Science Teaching Association, came out with the NGSS, the Next Generation Science Standards. And what is wonderful about it is that if you follow the standards, it means each child will have a well rounded science education. They're not just going to have one branch of science, but they're going to have all of them and have experience with them. So, in fact, this past year, our middle school has been trying to make it as close as possible to the NGSS standards. Next year, it's going to be the lower school. It enables the students to understand why they're learning. It gives them a chance to have more science investigations and lab work, and it all gets tied into the standards. It's just great.
Hmm. What changes do you envision for science education, and how are you preparing your students for this changing landscape?
Well, one of the most important parts to teach about is climate change because really this is something that's going to affect everyone's lives. As a science teacher and also the leader for the green team, I'm trying to let the students have even small steps that they can do to make a difference in this world. For example, with our green team, we begin with figuring out our green action of the week. And we have 8 signs that we post around the school. So this can be anywhere from don't crack a pencil in half to remembering that don't let the water run when you're brushing your teeth. Just small steps that the students can actually do.
Hmm. Teaching everyone to do their part.
Yeah, and it's great to see. You'd be shocked how many kids will show up at 7:30 in the morning to do a Central Park cleanup and think it's the neatest thing ever, which I
That's
love.
nice.
We also plan our biodiversity week. Our green team developed a bingo card with 25 different challenges, anywhere from identifying 5 new birds, making a mural, writing a poem about the environment. There was something for everyone. And it became a competition between the different homerooms and advisories.
Hmm.
It was great to see.
Absolutely. Well, your enthusiasm for your profession is certainly infectious. So that's inspiring to see.
Oh, I absolutely love it. As I mentioned before, 43 years I've been doing this. And one of the important things I feel is not to be stagnant in your learning. I'm very much a believer of lifelong learning, and I try to model this for my students. Every year, I'm taking courses, I'm going to conferences, reading up on any new science materials there are. I'm trying to keep my science knowledge as fresh as possible, and I've been going to these conferences and giving workshops for teachers. At first, I was a little hesitant, like, am I going to be well received? What's going to happen? And I needn't worry. They were well received. And I'm hoping very much that these teachers who might be starting to burn out and thinking maybe they're done with their career, I'm hoping I can just bring this a light to their teaching career and make them empowered to continue and instill this love of learning in their students. So it's been a great experience.
Well, Joan, thank you so much. How can our audience learn more about your work and the Browning School?
Oh, so glad you asked. I have a website, joangillman.com, and you can read about a lot of the programs I do and different publications I've been in. And then, of course, there's the Browning School website where you can hear a lot about their mission, their goals for the students. So please feel free to check them both out.
Joan, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Very happy to be here.
Until next time, I'm Jennifer Pierce signing off for today. Thank you for watching Innovator's Journey.